A lot of people naturally smile anyway. Like this guy. That's Fred. Hi, Fred.
Hey folks, and welcome to a Moving to Thailand episode. That's right, I'm just going to cruise up here to this little cafe on the left, but I've been getting a lot of different kind of messages lately. The whole tone has changed. I've been getting messages that said, very sad messages where people would say I was supposed to move on this day or that day and start my new life in Thailand. And all that's been put on hold. But those messages now have gone the other way, and people are making preparations and getting visas and so forth. So we're going to talk about that, and I'll give my advice and tips because a lot of people are asking me for that. And I'm going to go up here to this cafe and get a cup of coffee. We'll come back to this while I'm talking. We'll take a look at it. But let's just go ahead and jump right into it.
Got a lot of messages from people, especially recently. It's been a big uptick in messages of people that are moving here and ask some advice. What should I do? What would be some of the things, maybe to do, to not to do, the best practices planning a move here. And I used to get these as well. It just seems like it's upticked recently because now there is a path to come here and move here. The path to come here is for a tourist visa, but that doesn't mean it's for tourists. It's not practical with the quarantine. I'll show you what I mean. This is just for in the U.S., but there's other countries. You have to check the Thai embassy website in your home country to see what the specifics are. But I'll take you through real quick what I saw on the U.S. website. And it does provide a path because there were people that were planning on moving here April, May, June, July, August. All of those had to postpone their plans. But now, technically, if you follow the protocols and jump through the hoops, you can get a 60-day visa, extend it for 30, gives you 90, and then in that time while you're here, sort out your visa. So I'll show you that real quick while I walk up here.
All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this. There's the embassy page. It's a little convoluted. You wouldn't find this just immediately. It's a bunch of clicks. Consular services. You go down to visas and COE. COE is a certificate of entry. Okay, that's what a COE is. So you need that. Click into that. This is going to open up an application. Now, before you're going to have to fill this out. But for the purposes here, I'm not filling it out. I'm just showing you how to get the information. Right here it says more information can be found here. So if you click here, this is going to tell you all the people who can come in. You may not be in any of these categories up here. But if you scroll down here, for tourist purposes, right here, tourist visas, single entry, click here for more information. Update on November 18th, which isn't that long ago. Click here for more information. So there you go. And this is it for tourism purposes. Okay, and it tells you what you need to do. It's a bunch of stuff you got to do. I'm not telling you how to do it or what to do. I'm just saying there is a path. Depending on your country, but I hear other countries like England and some other European countries also have this as well. So if you were planning on moving here, you can always get your 60-day tourist visa, come do your quarantine, extend that for another 30. That gives you 90 days in total. Let's say, let's only say maybe 75 days because you got your first 2 weeks in quarantine. Don't think you'll be doing anything during that time. But 75 days walking around to secure your the 12-month visa, whatever kind of visa you were planning to get when you moved here anyway.
So I guess you could say it's a step in the right direction. A month or so ago, there was nothing. There was no path to come here. Now there's actually something. So anyway, that aside, I get these messages and I really want to respond to them because it's information that I would have wanted before I came here. But it takes me a long time to reply to all these things. So I thought I'll do one video and then I'll just tell people, hey, this is what I think about moving here. Things maybe you should do, not do, whatever. Just go watch that. That way it saves me from typing lengthy emails. So the first bit of advice, number one, I don't know that it applies right now. Normally I would tell people sort your visa before you come here. Because you have time now to do it, don't waste your time when you come here, because when you come here, It'll probably cost you the same amount or more, probably more. And you have other things to do when you're here. But now, I don't even know if that's possible. But you can do this maybe tourist visa thing and then sort your visa out when you get here. But I don't think that's the best practice. So if you're watching this 6 months from now, a year from now, I reckon I did that before I came. I just get the visa before you come. Go to the embassy, the consulate, whatever. Read the application, prepare all the stuff, and do it. Mine cost me about $300 with the medical, the criminal background check, all the stuff you had to get, and I went through it while I was still working. It wasn't hard, and then when I came here, it was done. I got stamped in. I didn't have to worry about that when I got here. So, but now I realize that may not really be a possibility. But like I said, if you're watching it later, that is my first bit of advice. As number two, I would never jump in and just get any kind of lease on anything without looking at it. A lot of people that try to arrange that before they come here. Just get a hotel for the first week. You get a cheap hotel, it doesn't have to be an extravagant hotel. And that'll give you a week to go around and look at some of these places that you're considering. It'll only take you a day, it might only take you a half a day. I had a lease probably the second day I moved here because I knew what I wanted to look at. I knew basically what had ruled some places out because of location, etc. And I went and looked at the 3 or 4 that I was interested in, and I picked one. And then I only did short, 3 months. 3 months because you still don't know even though you look at it. I wouldn't do a 1 year right away. I would just do a month to 3, no more than 3. And that's going to buy you even more time to say, hey, do I like this place? If you like it, you can always extend. You can rent longer or you can buy. But I wouldn't do a year right off the bat anywhere. And I wouldn't do anything until you look at it. So I guess that's number 2. And number 3, hotel for a week. Don't rush into a lease until you get here and look at it. And then when you do a short term first. Trial basis. Maybe a month to 3 months. If you're bringing cash, which you probably are, and this probably applies for whatever country you're coming from, bring 1, the largest denomination of bill, and 2, brand new bills. Go to the bank, get brand new bills. Make sure they don't have rips, tears, writing on them, etc. Make sure they are the newest version or rendition of your currency. There are probably 3 or 4 different $100 bills in circulation in the US, some old. They really only want the brand new one. Go to the bank, get your money, sit down at the bank and go through each bill. And if you think a bill is suspect, go right back up to the counter and say, can I have a different bill? Explain I'm doing this as currency exchange. They'll do it. I still have money that they wouldn't take. So another thing, this will not apply to a lot of people. If you're from England, Australia, Japan, you're used to driving on the left-hand side of the road. But in North America, not so much. And if you've never driven on the left-hand side of the road before, it can be a change. So you need to mentally prepare yourself before you come here. While you're driving now, even though you're used to driving on the right, just say to yourself, repeat in your head, stay left, stay left. That's what I did. Then when you get here, you do the same thing, but it's for real. You are going to stay left. And I think mentally preparing yourself, I had no problems. And some people are really good at this and some people are not. Some people it's not going to apply to. But mentally preparing yourself for that, I think can help. It'll just help. I guess in the same vein of that, which would basically apply to everybody, no matter where you're coming from, pretty much. Things are different here. The culture's different here. The tempo is different here. In the Western world, we get all wrapped up in these corporate, get it done yesterday kind of worlds. It's the life we live in. Here, it's different. It happens when it happens. You have to approach things different. If you're in a big hurry, if you're in a big rush to get things done, that's going to show. Just go with the flow and do things on the same tempo as what the local people do and as what the kind of people are directing you to do. So just kind of take it easy and mentally prepare for that. Things will be different, and you may have to do things differently than you've done before, and you might have to wait longer to get something done. That's just the way it's going to be, but probably you'll have more time here anyway, so it won't matter. But there again, just kind of mentally preparing for that. Things to bring, not to bring. Clothes, I wouldn't recommend bringing a lot of clothes unless you're like I was, and if you're a very large size, you will have trouble finding some of those larger sizes here. You can find them, but there will be less to pick from. You can still find 3X, 4X shirts and things like that, and large shorts, but there'll be less to pick from. So if you have some favorites, then I say, yeah, go ahead and bring them. But if you're more of a regular size, 1X, 2X, small, medium, large, I would say don't bring hardly any clothes. Just buy them here. Your luggage is better used or utilized carrying things you can't get here. Wide size shoes, if you wear wide size shoes, you can't get those here. Bring a couple pair of shoes. I wish somebody would have told me that. I wear like a triple E wide. Can't get them. To order them from the US, very expensive. And even though you can get Reeboks and you can get Nike and you can get New Balance and all, you can't get the wide sizes for whatever reason. Even at like the big mall, factory store, or whatever, outlet store, whatever you want to call it. So that's something to think about. Antiperspirant. If you're used to using an antiperspirant deodorant, you can't really get much of that here. You can get some. It's expensive. I pay $20 for 2 tubes of Arm & Hammer, which I never use Arm & Hammer. It works, but it's not what I used to use. Put that in your suitcase, not your clothes. Maybe the clothes, if you have a couple good clothes, nicer clothes, you'll eventually maybe want to wear it. Bring those, but all your kind of regular everyday clothes, shorts, t-shirts, tank tops, you can get all that here, and cheap. Everybody will be different. Like I just did a video on glasses, V-Got glasses. You know, I think the consensus was a lot of people weighed in, and that was great. I think the consensus was in Australia, it seemed like people said glasses were less than what she paid. But in places like Sweden, they said, oh, this was cheaper here. So depending on where you're coming from, there again, you might want to get glasses before you come. Maybe if you're coming from Australia, get them there first before you come. But if you're coming from Scandinavia, maybe wait till you get here to get them. So those kinds of things you have to weigh out, and it's going to be different for everybody. But maybe your favorite thing that you like to eat, if it's a dry food or a non-perishable or something that you can't get here, you just have to ask people if what you like you can get here or not. Coming from the US, there's no Peter Pan peanut butter, I can tell you that. That might be a good jar to throw in your suitcase. But depends what you like here. Again, personal, up to everybody. But you can get a lot of things. I bought a great big super size carton, container of Old Bay spice, because I like Old Bay spice. You can get that here. In fact, you can even get the super size container. It's a couple dollars more. But for a couple dollars more, I wouldn't have put it in my suitcase. I would have bought it here. So those kinds of things, you know, there's two things, what to bring, what not to bring. I can only tell you from personal, and everybody's going to be different on that. So there again, the more people you talk to, they can tell you all the different things that they wanted to bring, that they wish they would have brought and didn't, and so forth. The last thing, more of a mental preparedness here, but get used to greeting people with a smile. That's kind of the way things are done here. We get away from that in the West a lot of times. It might show that, it might even show weakness, or that you're somebody that can be walked over. Here, that's not the case. It's part of society. You're not going to speak a lot of the language probably when you come, which is okay. Smile at people when you meet them. Learn how to say hello and smile. That's all you need. That'll buy you so much goodwill. The people will like you more. They can sense a sense of respect. You greet them with a smile. They'll smile back. Where you live, that may not be the case. I realize that. Kind of getting out of some of the habits that we've kind of gotten used to in the West, I guess, is part of this. But That's just a couple of them. Might not be pertinent to everybody, but a lot of people naturally smile anyway. Like this guy. That's Fred. Hi, Fred. He's kind of in charge of this. This is his sector, you know. He doesn't take no guff. He doesn't take no slack. Anyway, so if you're asking me what should you do moving to Thailand, there's about 10 things right there. And I now will have a video I can refer people to, because that's the same thing I would tell you in an email. I've responded to countless messages and emails about that. So now I got a video. I don't think my advice is going to change. I've been here over 2 years now. It is what it is. Everybody's experience here, again, different. I can only give you mine. So talk to many people and take out what applies to you. So, and have fun. I'm just out here saying goodbye to the monkeys. Getting ready to move in 3 days. So next couple episodes, we'll say goodbye to Bang Sen. We have a lot of fun the last couple days here. And then we'll move, and then we'll do a video on that. Move to Pattaya. So tune in for that.
So there you go, my advice and tips if you're getting ready to move, which there are people doing right now, and that's really good to see. It has been a little heart-wrenching the last couple of months getting these stories from people how they were supposed to move on a given day, and instead they're sitting at home and all the things they're going through. So it looks like that tide is starting to change, just very slowly. I would say, you could maybe say it like this: Thailand has unlocked the door. Haven't swung it open by any means. For tourists, still not a thing coming here 2-3 weeks, anything like that. But if you were planning on moving here, there is a path. You can actually put the wheels in motion. So that's what this is for. That's kind of who this is addressed to, and hope to see you when you get here. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave this episode off here, and as usual, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye for now.